good experience has happened in Hawaii. Dr. Elric said, Dr. Jayaraju would like to share that.
This volcano erupted just minutes after we started listen to the Somayaga. The Devata of fire here in the Hawaii Islands is called Pile.
This is the thing. This was sent by Elric Ji in the Hawaii Islands. So you can read out that.
The Kilauea volcano continues to erupt on the big island of Hawaii. The Hawaii Volcano Observatory continues a volcano watch.
Okay, you can talk about something very starting options of 5 minutes. Okay. Dr. Alan is here.
Okay.
Dr. John is also there.
So now we would like to hear something from Dr. Alan.
Okay, Abhishek will start after 5 minutes. So we'll just, Dr. John can speak. Yeah. So we'll start in another 5 minutes. So I request Dr. John to speak on this Vedic agriculture. We interrupted you. Yes, Dr. John.
Well, I'd rather wait to speak on Vedic agriculture till the 25th when I have a full lecture. But I will present on Vedic Yagya in terms of agriculture at that time. That Maharshi has developed a very, very special Yagya called the Prakrati Yagya. And it's a Yagya that lasts 21 days and it addresses all of the 8 Prakritis and how to bring balance to the 8 Prakritis, which are the fundamental building blocks of nature. And what we do is we invoke all of the devatas that are associated with each of the Prakritis. And that way each Prakriti gets its full life and balance. And this Yagya was only performed in the very, very distant past by Brahma at the beginning of creation. And Maharshi revived that Yagya because it's the most powerful for balancing the environment. And when the environment gets balanced, then agriculture flourishes. So Vedic agriculture is dealing mostly with meditation and Yagya because what's important is the consciousness of the farmer and the relationship of the farmer's consciousness to his environment. Once the farmer connects with the environment on a very deep level, then nature begins to respond to the farmer. So it's a real Vedic practice. Vedic means connecting individual with cosmic. Just connecting individual with cosmic, connecting the Atma of the farmer with the Atma of the environment. And this is what the technologies of Vedic agriculture present. And when we did our first Ashtaprakriti Yagya about 4 years ago in Maharashtra, during the drought, there were 300 million people without water. And we did this 21-day Yagya. On the first day of the Yagya, it rained all over the area. As soon as the Yagya was finished, it rained everywhere. And as the Yagya progressed and each Prakriti was invoked, the balance increased and increased till the rain spread all over the area. So we demonstrated very carefully that Yagya is a technology which, through the vibrations of the mantras, affects the vibrations in the environment and produces concrete results. And all of these pundits who participated were all practicing transcendental meditation, because the key to Yagya is only one thing, that the pundits have to recite from the level of para. We have Vaikari, Madhyama, Pashanti, and para. If the pundits are just reciting on Vaikari level, nothing will happen. It's too superficial. They have to pick up the mantras at the level of para, and then Yagyas will be effective. So I'll be talking about the Vedic agriculture procedures of farming and the Vedic agriculture yagyas that can be used on the 25th. And I'm very happy to be able to join the conference and participate in that way. And I appreciate the invitation from the organizers. And looking forward to Alan's presentation today on Maharshi Yagya.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. John. Nikla, you are ready with that. Now I welcome Jai Gurudev. I heartily welcome all the participants. Today we have been conducting a webinar. We started yesterday, Yagas for World Wellness. And today's topic is Yaga, the soul of Indian culture. Without Yaga and Yoga, we can't even imagine Indian culture. And the Yaga, the soul of Indian culture, is a very important topic. On this, Dr. Alan also will be speaking. Now I request Nikla to introduce the speaker.
Namaste. Dr. Alan Alsgaard, bachelor's and master's degrees in Vedic science, Maharshi International University, USA. International faculty, Maharshi Vedic University, the Netherlands. Director, Consciousness-Based Vedic Education. Teacher of Transcendental Meditation. Implementation of Transcendental Meditation in police, military, private sector, and schools. He has worked with Maharshi Thyapa Veda and Vedic agriculture.
Now, Dr. Alan, you can start your speech now. Screen, you are sharing the screen. He's sharing the screen. Yeah. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Oh, okay.
Can you unmute yourself, please?
Wait. I know.
Yeah, he has to do it from this side.
He has to do it.
Dr. Alan, can you? Yeah.
Share his screen.
Jai Gurudev.
Yeah.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. You can hear me well?
Yes.
Thank you for this opportunity. I want to, first of all, thank the great pundits down in Hyderabad for the great recitation, this great Vajapeya Maha Soma Yagya that you are doing, and of course the organizers. And I also want to thank the senior pundit yesterday who explained very nicely the sequence of these Maha Soma Yagyas that have been happening in these last months until the one today. I also want to send my heartfelt greetings to Dr. Rajuji, whom I'm seeing in front of my screen here. I hope you remember me from Panchakarma in Shalimar Bagh. I hope that you and your family are all well. Jai Gurudev. So I'm going to try to share my screen. I don't know this software, but I'm assuming that I could share my screen like this. Let's see.
There's a present now button at the bottom, Alan.
Yes, I'm clicking that, but
Where is how to share the screen? Can you?
I clicked on the present now button, but it doesn't seem to do. Wait,
Okay.
entire screen. Here we go. Allow.
Okay.
Not as he has to press it.
I looked at it. Look at it.
Yeah. Ah, that's
Do
great.
you see my PowerPoint now?
Not
Yes.
as
Yeah,
I mean,
it's there. It's there.
Do you see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yes.
You see the title, Maharshi Yagya?
yes, Ved Yoga, Ved Yagya.
There, very good, very good. Thank you. So, with your permission, I'd like to proceed. So, today's topic on this day of this Vajapeya Maha Soma Yagya is the soul of Indian culture, Veda Yoga, Vedic Yagya. And this knowledge that I hope to share with you today in a way that is useful for everybody comes from the inspiration of Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, my guru. He is worldwide known as the founder of Transcendental Meditation and the TM Siddhis program. Transcendental Meditation, known here as Bhavati Dhyan. A little bit about Maharishi first. He set out in the 1950s, traveling around the world, and his only aim was really two things, and that was to give us all higher states of Chetana, higher states of consciousness.
Make it full
He
screen.
said life is bliss, Ananda, and that the purpose of life is the expansion of happiness. He also gave us the technology to practice these techniques, which allow the effects of these techniques to be experienced in the environment. And I will just touch upon that a little bit later. But his teaching was basically freedom and liberation from ignorance, avidya, and that we can all realize moksha. We can all realize higher states of Chetana.
Switch off
And
the
he
light.
has thousands of hours of lectures on Vedas and how we can achieve this. But he also gave us the practical technologies of how to rise to Brahmi Chetana. So today, we'll be speaking about Veda, Yoga, and Yagya, and what we need to do to ensure its success, how it can best serve our evolution. First of all, Maharshi's definition, or one of them, of Yagya is that these are ancient, precise performances by specifically trained Vedic Pandits of India, which create specific life-supporting influences from the field of pure consciousness, the source of natural law. This is the field of Atma, pure Chetana, Atma. And this is where we all want to experience higher states of consciousness in this field of pure conscious, pure Chetana. The meaning of Yagya, according to Maharshi, is offerings. But he breaks down offerings into two ways of offerings. One is that you offer yourself through dhyan, through meditation. You offer yourself, your individuality to Brahm. And the second meaning of this that Maharshi gives us is Yagya. Yagya, which are Vedic ceremonies, also to improve your evolution. So these two meanings of offering, which is Yagya, one through dhyan, through your own self-practice of dhyan, meditation, and with the help of Yagya, Vedic ceremonies, to allow your evolution to move ahead more quickly. Yagya, ya means that, and gya means gyan, knowledge. It is the performance of gyan. Yagya is the performance of knowledge, the performance of the light of Brahm, the performance of the will of Bhagwan that has set in motion all of creation and evolution. So yajna is a technology for us to align our own personal evolution, or that of a city or a nation or of the whole world, to align our evolution with natural law, with dharma, that which is the will of Bhagwan, the growth of the universe unto where it is going to. So people sometimes wonder, where does this knowledge of Yagya come from? Well, we have learned that it comes from the Veda. But what is Veda? Veda basically means knowledge, pure, complete, total knowledge, knowledge of everything. This is what Veda means. It is everywhere, it is everything. And if we connect to Veda, we then gain complete knowledge. And where can we find this knowledge? Well, one place are the Vedic Shastras, the Vedic literature, the books which we can acquire in some shops throughout India, where the Devanagari texts are there. which have been given to us from the cognitions of the Rishis, which I will explain in a second. So where do these Shastras come from? Where do we get the knowledge that is in these texts? Well, this knowledge is Nitya Aparusheya. It is eternal and uncreated. It is uncreated by man. It is divine knowledge. This is why it is Nitya, Nitya Aparusheya. And how did we gain this knowledge? Well, that we have the Rishis, the great Rishis of India, to thank for. Because the Rishis of India, in their state of moksha, in their state of enlightenment, they were able to experience and hear that flow of Vedic knowledge that's eternally flowing in our own Atma Chetana. They heard this in their own Atma Chetana, in their state of pure consciousness. But they didn't hear this on a sensory level. It was not through their ears, or they did not see it through their eyes. It was an inward experience which you gain when you have reached that level of enlightenment, higher states of consciousness. This is called cognition in English, and we call it Shruti in the Vedic language, that which is heard. It is thanks to the Rishis that we have this knowledge today, and it is thanks to those Rishis that we are able to perform these yagyas and practice our own personal yagya, dhyan, meditation. What the Rishis heard were the Vrttis of Atma, the mantras and the sounds or frequencies or vibrations which are eternally reverberating throughout the whole universe, but experienced in our own Chetana, our own pure Chetana. And these frequencies, these mantras, these sounds which are recorded in the Vedic Shastras, they take material form, and they're recorded in these Shastras which we can read and experience this great knowledge that's coming from these Rishis. These mantras and these sounds, nama or rupa, name and form, these are what give rise to the whole universe and our sharir and its evolution. Name, the mantras, the devata, the form of the devata which is in the name is taking always shape, it's taking form, and it becomes the universe. It becomes everything that is material in the universe, including our physiologies. So devata is in our physiology. The laws of nature are in our physiology. Nama and rupa is always giving shape to the evolution of the universe. This is experienced in our Atma. In our Atma, we experience the infinite organizing power, which is expressing and creating through Devata, which again is expressed in the Vedic language, which is natural law. And this is all through the Vrttis of Atma, those mantras, those sounds which are eternally reverberating. It is in that state of the infinite in which the absolute is becoming constantly the relative creation, the ever-changing material world. It is from here that the Rishis gain this knowledge. And throughout the ages, throughout the yugas, throughout the eons of time, this knowledge has been preserved by the great families of India, these Vedic families of India. And this is the most ancient tradition of knowledge in the world today. And we have an example of these families there in Hyderabad today who are practicing now this Vajapeya Maha Soma Yaga for us and for the world. Now, for a long time, these Vedic families of India kept this knowledge to memory. It was passed from one to the next and to the next, always through memory. Yagyas were recited, knowledge was kept always through memory, but eventually in time, probably due to invasions and wars, finally this knowledge was put into palm leaves, which you see on your screen as an example. And in more recent times, also with the aim of preserving this knowledge into Vedic texts, books, which you can acquire today from publishers and in shops in most cases. Now, Maharishi sat together with many of the great Vedic families of India and looked into what Veda is, how many Vedas are there, and they came up with the fact that there are 40 Vedas. 40 Vedas starting with Rig Veda, as you can see up here in the top, just under Atma, followed by Sama, Yajura, and Atharva Veda. These are the 4 main Vedas. The remaining 36, so the 40 are the Upavedas. They all start with Rig Veda, which has 10 mandalas. These are the emerging sounds, the Vrttis of Atma, experienced in your own Atma Chetana, which were heard by the Rishis. Every Veda is an expression of the first Veda, which is Rig Veda. So your last Veda, which is the Samaveda Pratishakya, is an expression of Rig Veda, which has 10 mandalas, and all these are an expression of the first mandala, the first word of the first mandala, which is Agnim, and they are all an expression of the totality, the fullness of infinity expressing itself in material creation. And so from this infinite Atma, through all these sounds of the Vedas, which are all expressed in these 40 aspects, you can find most of these books today available with the texts, which are the cognitions, the Shruti, which these Rishis have heard long, long ago, and the Vedic families have preserved. So all of this knowledge of Dhyan, all of this knowledge of Yagya, this knowledge of Ayurveda, of Jyotish, of everything in creation is found in these Vedic texts, which are here, 40 of them. And Maharshi calls these the constitution of the universe. Why does he call it that? Well, every country has a constitution, and it's the laws of the country. But the Vedas are the ultimate laws. They're the laws of the universe. We call them natural law. Veda, total complete knowledge. So this Maharshi calls the constitution of the universe, as well as sometimes he's also mentioned it as the blueprint of creation. The blueprint of creation is the design of creation, or the design of a house, which an architect would do for you before the house was actually built. So we have 40 Vedas, and in these Vedas, we have total knowledge for our benefit. Atma. What is Atma? We mentioned this word, but what is Atma? Atma is that unbounded, unlimited, eternal, infinite state of our very own Chetana. When I experience my Atma in Dhyan, through Dhyan, it's the same Atma that you will experience when you practice your meditation. Atma is everything. It is the basis of creation. It is where all the Vrttis of creation, Nama and Rupa, are being taking form and creating all of the universe. So within this Atma, you find Smriti, memory in the infinite field of total intelligence and creativity. Atma is Smriti Sagar. It is the ocean of memories. And within that Smriti Sagar of Atma, this is where we find Devata, the infinite organizing power of nature, which is in the form of sounds and their counterparts, which we find in the Sharir, in our Sharir, our physiology, and Vishwa, the universe. So Devata has its counterparts in our physiology. Devata is that which is creating the whole universe. It is found everywhere. And we can access this in Smriti Sagar, the memory that is found within Atma. And to accomplish this, to know why this is important for us, we have to understand that Jyotish and Yagya actually go hand in hand. because Jyotish, which is the all science of all knowing, is able to predict by looking at Smriti Sagar, looking at our own individual memory from Atma. It's able to calculate that and see what our situation is and see if there is a need for any adjustment in the future. And Yagya is that action, those ceremonies that we then can do to help us adjust anything that is needed in our future. So Jyotish is that science from the Vedas which allows us to see where we need some attention. And Yagya is the dynamics, the activity in which we can then resolve any need that coming in the future to help us to grow and evolve. So Jyotish looks at karma. It looks at our karma, not only of the individual, but of a city, of a nation, of a country. It looks at the past, it can see the present, and it can see the future. It is the science of the prediction. It is the science of all knowing. And Yagya corrects or makes better our karma still to come. This is all known in Atma. It is in the memory of Atma. It is Smriti Sagar. That's where Jyotish looks into to see what our situation is through the calculations, complex calculations, which Jyotish gives to us. This Maharshi calls Vedic engineering. It is Vedic engineering because through the sounds used in Yagya, the recitations and the processes used in Yagya, through sounds we are able to adjust those sounds to bring out a correction in those Vrttis that are occurring in Atma, so that we can make our evolution better. We can correct past karma, which is not good for us coming in the future. We can correct that. And this Maharshi calls Vedic engineering. So karma is recorded in that Smriti Sagar, in the Smriti of Atma. We know this because the moment you are born, our solar system and the universe is in a particular situation. The moment you are born, and we know the time, the date, and the place of birth, this is part of Jyotish. We have a picture exactly of what the universe was like. That presents information to the Jyotishi, and mathematically the Jyotishi can tell what our past has been, what our present is like, and what our future will be like. So any problem coming in the future, Yagya can neutralize that karma. And the Sankalpa during the Yagya invokes a particular Devata. And that Devata then comes out to correct that Yagya, as long as the Yagya is done properly and correctly. The Vedas tell us, Heyam Dukkam Anagatam. This means to avoid or avert the danger which has not come. So the Vedas themselves are telling us that we can make better our future. We can evolve more quickly through Yagya, through Dhyan, by averting danger that has not yet come. So we can avoid problems coming into the future. Yagya is a technology for promoting perfection in life. Individuals, cities, nations, and the world. In many different circumstances, we can apply Yagyas to help all of these categories to be able to live perfection in life. Now, some may wonder, those who do not have knowledge of Jyotish and Yagya, they may wonder, how is it that karma comes to us? What we have done in the past, as you sow, so shall you reap. What comes to us in the future is based on what is coming to us in the past. So it is a wonder to people how this mechanics happens. How is it possible that something is influencing our life, bringing us the results of past karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. Action has a reaction. Well, in this slide that you see in front of you, it has been found that there is a one-to-one relationship between the grahas in this slide and their counterparts in our brain. Jyotish takes a look at the grahas, nakshatras, the rashis, and the bhavas, the houses, the signs, and the constellations, and the planets to see how these affect us, plus a lot of other calculations that they make in addition, a lot of other details which are not part of this slide as such. But it has been found that there is a one-to-one relationship with different parts of the brain and the grahas. Why? Because, for example, if we look at number 5, which is up here, this is Guru, the planet Jupiter, which has its counterparts here in the globus pallidus. Surya, for example, has its counterpart in the thalamus, which is over here. And likewise with all the other grahas, they have their counterparts in different parts of the brain. Why? Because those parts of the brain have been found to have the same dynamics, the same behavior. They influence in specific ways our life, as is described in the Jyotish texts in the Vedic Shastras of these different grahas which are up here. So a Jyotishi could probably go into much more detail than I can, but Surya represents a specific quality or qualities. The thalamus represents the same qualities, but they're happening within us. It's what is guiding our life. So Surya debilitated will cause us some problems. Surya in a positive situation will give us evolution. So if any of these grahas are debilitated and not functioning in our favor at that particular time, due to past karma, this is where we bring in a yagya that is done at the right time, at the right moment. This can help correct that karma that is coming to us in the future. And here is another slide showing where in the brain these grahas are placed. And the same thing goes for the 12 rashis. The 12 rashis have their counterparts in 12 cranial nerves. Again, a one-to-one correspondence. The function of those nerves is a one-to-one correspondence with these 12 different rashis which are out in our solar system, in the universe, the same as the grahas. And the same thing with the 27 nakshatras, which have been found as to be 27 different kinds of neurons which have a one-to-one relationship with these 27 nakshatras. So as you can see, the cosmos is affecting us all the time. It is bringing us our karma, and karma can be good or it can be bad. Jyotish is that science of all-knowing. It can look into our situation. It can tell us if we need some help in the future to avoid any problem that is coming up. And when we detect that, then we ask our pundits to do yagya for us to amend that situation which is coming in the future. And the same thing goes for the 12 bhavas. The 12 bhavas are also divided up in these sections of the brain, and there is also a one-to-one relationship with these 12 bhavas and these parts of our brain. So having this knowledge of Yagya, Graha Shanti, how can we ensure success? How can we make sure that we can make best use of Yagya? And the way to do that is to develop Manas Shanti. It is to develop our own Chetana, expand our own consciousness, not only myself, but that of the Pandit, that of all of you who are listening, that of everybody in this world. Maharshi has given us the knowledge of Bhavatita Dhyan, and he's giving us the knowledge of the advanced program, the Siddhis program, which includes yogic flying. Because Yagya should be performed by Pandits who are experiencing complete knowledge, complete Vedic knowledge, expansion of Chetana. This is the way in which Yagya is best there to serve us and to serve the evolution of everybody in society and in the country. And the practice of Bhavatita Dhyan allows our consciousness to expand. And the advanced Siddhis program, including yogic flying, accelerates this process through Nivartadvam, transcendence. Maharshi tells us that knowledge is structured in consciousness, Chetana. This is where knowledge is found. Ved is found in our own Atma. And for that, we need the technique which has been given to us by Maharshiji from the Vedic Shastras, which allows us to experience Nivartatvam, transcendence. And like this, we experience Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the complete settling of the activity of the mind. We teach the mind through Dhyan to experience its most settled state, its most quiet state, and that is where we locate our own Atma. Krishna tells Arjuna on the battlefield, Yogaska Kuru Karmani. Establish yourself in yoga, in unity, and then perform action. He's giving us the technique for perfection in life. First, establish yourself in that state of yoga, in Atma. Be there and then experience action, perform action, and this will give success in everything that you need to do. Looking at this from this visual slide, what the mechanics of Bhavatita Dhyan are, is that it allows the mind, which currently, if not practicing Dhyan, is using only approximately 10% of its mental potential. The rest of the potential of the mind is not being used. That place where the source of thought is found, which is Atma, is not being contacted. We are not connected to that level of pure Chetana, Atma. So when we practice Bhavatita Dhyan, we start to expand our conscious mind capacity. We start to increase our conscious capacity until we are fully using our 100% of mental potential. The full value of the conscious mind is beginning to be used. We are experiencing pure Chetana, unbounded awareness. We experience Atma, the source of thought, where sources come from. But this Atma is not just in our own individuality. As said before, my Atma is the same as yours. Everybody experiences the same Atma during meditation. The same source of thoughts come from the Atma, which is present in everyone and in everything. It is from Atma where the Vrttis of Atma take form as Nama and Rupa and become everything in the universe, the constitution of the universe. Everything that is material in the universe comes from this Atma. So when we experience this Atma in our meditation, we are gaining complete and total knowledge. We are living Veda. We are experiencing Veda. We are breathing. We are thinking. We are living. We are acting Veda. And this is the value of the practice of Bhavatita Dhyan. It is said in the Vedas, Shivam Shantam Advaitam Chaturtam Manyante sa atma savigyeyaha. The peaceful, the blissful, the undivided is thought to be the fourth, Turiya Chetana. That is the self, Shivam. That is to be known. So when we experience Atma, when we experience this unbounded, unlimited experience of pure Chetana, we are experiencing Shiva, the fourth state, Turiya Chetana. That is where we experience Shivam, the source of all our thoughts, the source of everything that is in the universe. And this is what is to be known as this shloka from this Shastra is telling us. And when we add the Siddhi's advanced program, which includes yogic flying, we accelerate this process. We not only plunge in or dive into Atma and come out during transcendental meditation, Bhavatita Dhyanam, but through this advanced technique of the Siddhi's program, we start to learn how to function from that level of Atma. We start to create perfection in mind and body coordination through this technique of yogic flying and the whole Siddhi's program. And this program also has the added value that when practiced in groups, you can actually create Shanti and increase creativity in all of society. If the groups are large enough, a whole country, a whole planet can be influenced by large groups of people practicing this technique. And that is a talk for another day, because there's a lot to say about that. We will be going back to talking about Yoga, Veda, and Yagya. Another shloka to corroborate what I just said states, Yogi Padmasana Stopi Bhuva Bhutsrijya Vartate Vayu Siddhi Stada Jnaya Samsaradvantana Shini. When the yogi rising into the air, sitting in the lotus position, departs, this is the yogic flying technique, then the Vayu Siddhi, yogic flying, is known as the destroyer of darkness of the world. So this technique, Bhavati Dhyan, and the Siddhi's program, including yogic flying, is an extremely powerful technique to expand your own Chetana and at the same time create Shanti and Ananda, the destroyer of darkness in the world. All of negativity in society just fades away and positivity rises up instead. So when the Pandits are practicing Bhavati Dhyan and the Siddhi's technique, the advanced Siddhi's technique, they are expanding their Chetana, they are experiencing daily Atma. And when that fourth state, Turiya Chetana, becomes 24 hours their reality, without fading away, completely there all the time, and they experience Turiyatit, the fifth state of consciousness, all the time, then the drop representing us individually becomes that ocean of Chetana, that wave in the ocean which is alone there, moving about at the will of the current and the wind. Suddenly it becomes more powerful because it's completely connected to the complete stability and infinite total ocean which resides everywhere in the ocean in the world. So the drop becomes the ocean, the wave becomes fully connected and a part of the whole ocean. The individuality, our individuality, we become universality. We gain knowledge of that infinite organizing power, the home of all the laws of nature. We experience beingness and becoming, how this is the experience of complete Veda, complete knowledge, Gyan, Vedic knowledge, how Atma, being, is just becoming, the two together, intelligence and creativity, as one and not as two separate laws of nature in the universe. We experience unity and diversity in their totality, in their togetherness. Gyan Shakti, knowledge, and Kriya Shakti, action. Knowledge and action together. We experience the eternal absolute and the ever-changing relative as one. This is living, Maharshi says, 200% of life. We experience and live the complete totality of our consciousness, our Chetana. We experience Atma and its expression, its nature, which is creation, the universe and our Sharir. So Atma and its nature, which is creativity, Shiv and Shakti, we have that complete knowledge which we live. And this is a state of gaining enlightenment, moksha, liberation from limitations, unboundedness. We live that pure eternal state of Chetana. And what do the Vedas tell us? Well, they tell us, Kasminu Bhagavo Vijñate Sarvamidam Vijñatam Bhavatiti. Know that by knowing which everything is known. This is the purpose of Manas Shanti, to know that by which everything is known, and then your life becomes a life of perfection. The Pandit is able to do Yagya from that state of complete perfection, so that the results of that Yagya become completely satisfactory. They reach their target. This is part of Dhanur Veda, one of the 40 aspects of the Veda, that the Sankalpa has maximum effect. Ritam Bharat Tatra Prajna. We experience, the Pandit experiences that fully awake consciousness, fully awake Chetana, that all-knowing awareness. Jyotish Mati Prajna, that all-knowing quality of intelligence becomes our intelligence. That fully awake field of intelligence that knows everything. We gain all that knowledge. We gain Jyotish Mati Prajna. Jivo Brahmaivana Paraha. Jiva, you and me, is Brahm and nothing other. That is all that there is. But we need that technique to be able to expand our limited individual Chetana to know that we are Brahm and none other than Brahm. Ayam Atma Brahm. This Atma, the individual self, is Brahm, the universal self. This self is Brahm, the wholeness of life. This pure, silent, simple singularity of Atma is the totality Brahm. These are examples in the Vedic Shastras, the Vedic literature, which are telling us what our experience is, who we become when we practice Manas Shanti, which is the basis of gaining enlightenment, gaining moksha, gaining liberation from being lost in our small individuality. Brahmaveda Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahm is Brahm itself. When you get to know who you really are through Manas Shanti, then you know that you are Brahm and none other than Brahm. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. I am totality. I am singularity. I am that self-referral state of Chetana, of consciousness. And Sarvam Kalvidam Brahm. All this is Brahm. So Aham Brahmasmi, I know that I am Brahm, I am totality. And at the same time, I look at everything in creation and I see that everything else in creation, you, the bird, the rock, the water, the Panchabhutas, everybody else, the body, the cells, the tree, everything, that everything is also that same totality that I am also experiencing. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahm. Vedoham. I am Veda. I am totality. Aham Vishvam. I am the universe. So Yagya, which is offering, we can either offer ourselves through dhyan and become one with Brahm. And we can also ensure our evolution through Yagya, the performances of Yagya. The performances of Yagya are invoking that level of totality, and that level of totality, which is experienced through the sounds within the Devata level of creation, gives us the experience in which wholeness, totality offers itself to us, to its own point. Infinity, wholeness, totality moves to its own point, us, Sharir. So through our meditation, through Yagya, if our Chetana is expanded, then we have this experience where wholeness is offering itself to come into our lives and giving us perfection so that life is no longer a struggle. It is unboundedness, unlimitedness, bowing down to its own limitation. And that limitation ourselves, we become that unboundedness. We become unlimited. We become pure Chetana. We live a life in perfection. So the daily Vedic routine for everyone is ideally to practice Manas Shanti, experience the effects of Manas Shanti, which is expansion of Chetana. The Pandit's daily routine, ideally, to have the best maximum effects for the performance of Yagya, is to have in their daily routine Bhavatita Dhyan and the Advanced Siddhis program and Yogic flying. Maharshi's international organization has, I think, today around about 30,000 Pandits in India and Nepal. Every day they perform Rudrabhishek for the whole world. Some of these Pandits are also doing personal Yagyas for us, but they all start the day and they all end the day as part of their Vedic routine with Manas Shanti. They expand their Chetana, they expand their consciousness so that the effect of their Yajna is much more powerful. In gaining this state of higher states of consciousness, we experience the ceasing of separation from wholeness. Separation becomes less and less, and we become more and more and more and more complete. We gain oneness, we gain unity, yoga. Yoga is lived as unity. We live this eternally. The individuality becomes cosmic. We experience totality. The individuality is universality, but it needs to find that out through that journey of Bhavatita Dhyan, the practice of meditation, transcendental meditation. And in this way, humanity, Maharshi tells us, can rise to higher states of Chetana, higher states of consciousness. It is through Manas Shanti and Graha Shanti, Yajna. This is the soul of Indian life. It is Manas Shanti, the knowledge of Veda, and Yagya. This is the soul of Indian life. Humanity is able to live in that perfect alignment with Dharma and the evolutionary power of natural law. The world is not in Dharma, and that is why these Yagyas are being done right now in Hyderabad. But Manas Shanti, Graha Shanti, the knowledge of gaining total Ved in our consciousness, in our individual consciousness, as it unites, ends its separation and becomes one with Brahm, is the way for the whole world to come back into Dharma, to gain the knowledge of how to evolve, how to act, to have a karma which is perfectly in accord with natural law. So this is the soul of Indian culture. And Maharshi tells us we can achieve Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is my family. This is what India can give to the world. India has the greatest knowledge on earth. It needs to be preserved, and that is what Maharishi's international organization is doing. We are doing our best to keep Pandits in India preserving this knowledge and expressing it all the time so as to create peace for the individual and for the whole world. Here are some examples of our Pandits here in India at the Brahmastan of India, where we have a large campus, but they are spread out in India and Nepal. This is a picture of Pandits doing Yagya for agriculture. And I'm going to leave this topic for the speakers on the 25th, Sarah and John, Dr. Sarah and John Conhouse, who will be speaking about Vedic agriculture and yagyas that are done for that. And these are again pictures of our Pandits, and this is our Pandit campus in the Brahmastan of India. And I would finally like to thank my guru, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, his guru, Swami Brahmananda, that you see here, and our Guru Parampara for this inspiration and this knowledge that they've given to us to unite the world in higher states of consciousness. So I hope this has been useful for you. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad and Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Thank you very much, Dr. Ale. It was very insightful into Yagya, and I learned a lot of things today from your speech. Now I'd like to introduce Dr. G.V.K. Rao Garu. He has started this Pragati Sudhama in 1994. It is spread in 2,500 acres, and it's one of the finest herbal gardens in the world, I can say. And in India, it is the only one which I know. And he has grown about 45 lakh herbal trees. And we also have Raja of Japan. Dr. John also is doing Vedic agriculture. The idea is to in what way Dr. G.B. Rao and Dr. John can join hands together to do repeat what we are doing in Japan in Hyderabad here. And Dr. John will be giving a full presentation on 25th. But we can just touch on that point also. And after that, after G.B. Rao leaves, then we can have open discussion, because he has to, as an Agakarta, he has to perform some rituals there. So you leave after some time. Then we'll have an open discussion and a speech by Dr. Rajareddy. And now I'm giving to Dr. G.B.K. Rao Garu.
Vashadibhyo Namaha. Prakriti Mataku Nirajanam. Today, so many Pandits, Vrttis, Yajmanuralu, and great scholars all over the world looking for the Yagnas. What is Yagna? Yagna is the one which it brings peaceful, joyful, health, wealth, everything, whatever Satyayog has been told. No one there to beg, no one there to take help, no one having any diseases, and even there is no one to control on one. Everyone is having dharma. So there is no question of seeking help from anyone, and such a free, individually, not only human beings, all living beings, including the tiger and the cow, both together, they take water at one place, side by side. That is the one which to bring back this Yagna is required. The Yagna is the knowledge, is the Vedic knowledge, which is what to use, what not to use, what is education, what is Vidya, Avidya. Today, the whole world is avidya. That's why the Kali Yuga, Kala Purusha, Kali Purusha, he is the one who is able to mesmerize the materialistic world and putting us in senses, all the senses which we have, the human beings, no control. When we have no control, then how to bring it back? That is only way, sattvic food. What type of food? They say an, I say man. What you eat, that you mind works like that. And what you Second is, there's a ras as a coon. Ras means what paniya, what is the coconut water or the herbal water, like somalata. Is a somalata is just immersed in water. That is one which is the devas you take and they become all the young. Young means that time that is maybe thousands of years their life. But here in Kali Yuga, there is supposed to be 150 years one should live. Even at 90 years, he can have a marriage and have a children. That is the life of the span, and also the dynamic life is today we have lost everything. Then third comes, they say Agni, I say walk. Agni means the hydrogen, the oils. What type of oils we are taking? Is it cold press oils or refined oils? These are the manasa, vacha, karmana, trikana suddhi. Trikana suddhi. Suddhi means there is a purity, pavitrata. This is what it changes. Not only the panchabhutas, this yajna changes even the mind, what the controlling the indriyas, it brings back into the people. So people who are coming here with a belief, then only. If they don't have belief, it won't give much effect, but effect will be there. But that is a small extent. But full effect will come only when we trust that Vedas are the only the truth, nothing else. No other. Today's material, today's education is not the education. It is only to take care of himself, selfish, and how to make money, how to have enjoyments, not for others' sake, but our Vedas. They talk about Kashayam, Kashayam. Kashayam means all herbs. You have to use all herbs. Once you use herbs, this farmer, he becomes rich. Once farmer becomes rich, what he grows, these herbs, the whole environment it protects. Once the environment protects, the life of even the government or individual or the groups or families become happy state. That's why today, whatever the herbs are used in the particular in this yajna, you see Somalata is the king of the herb. The Somalata, where they keep the Somalata, that drink, it is only in the mud part. That too specialized mud. It's not just general type of mud. And there are other two wood they use. One is the Chandra. Chandra means Kadira. That is called Acacia Katachu. That is the Katachu is what we use in Tambulam. That is Katta is used here. And also the same wood used for the buttermilking, that is we call Kavam. And also the Balram used to keep the rokali, that is the wood which you use in the olden days. Today, no one knows about the even name of the plant. And that is called today is the Mangala, Kujagraha. Kujagraha, this is when you talked about the 9 grahas, one is today, Tuesday, is called Mangala, Kujagraha. That is the plant which is used for even making a chutney, even pickles. That is to be used the wood. And third, the most important thing is in the world, in particular in India, wherever there is a drinking water is to be made, that the ponds they make in the villages, that pond, they keep the 2 sticks in center of the pond. One is the acacia katachu, another is amla. Amla is the amla gooseberry. These 2 sticks, once they keep, the water becomes so purified, and that water, all people used to become a new discoveries, like zero discovery, then Ashok stove, that is 8 tons capacity of the single piece is the powder metallurgy done those days. And today is a $1 trillion technology. If such a stove can be made even today, every country taking a small piece of that Ashok stove in Delhi, Qutub Minar, they're not able to find even that technology. And what I am talking about second is the wood which they use, Somalata rust. In the juvi is the one, is the ficus, one variety, which is, we call them, that is Sri Kalasteshwar. Is a temple. Out of 5 elements, 5 temples are created. That is, juvi is the ficus variety. That is one which is Gnana Prasunama. Gnan means that is the knowledge, which these two, one is for health and it is for knowledge. These two are represent this, which you are pouring this rus, this Somarasa rus. These two are important. One is the body, till you take care of that, the knowledge, what knowledge it is. That is knowledge is, you are not body, you are Atma. You are Atma, you are soul, you are not body. Till that time, this type of woods, what they use, samridhis, Navagraha, all the Navagraha samridhis have been used in such a way that is particular any yagna. But this Somarasa yagna is very special. They use the ficus, is the one which is called, we call Marri. Marri name Marri. Banyan tree, for English. Ficus, that is one variety, which is also the Nakshatra Vanam, that becomes a Maka Nakshatra, that tree is there. We planted the trees, Nakshatra Vanam, 47 degrees, 28 seconds, which Dakshinayana to Uttarayana, Uttarayana to Dakshinayana. That means there is north to south, south to. The sun moves according to the solar system. That is that particular tree will have that month the sun rays. Next, another tree is a Jammi. It goes on Uttarayana, Dakshinayana, Dakshinayana to Uttarayana. This type of knowledge Vedas talk. It's not that just it is a mantras and japas. Asatoma Sadgamaya. What is meant by Asatoma Sadgamaya? That is the truth. We are living untruth. You come to the truth. Truth is where? Is only Vedas. Except Vedas, Shastras, there is no truth, other things. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Darkness. We are in the darkness. Bring it into light. The light means the knowledge, which is there. And Mrutyoma Amritangamaya. Mrityu means the death. One should not fear about the death. The body just is like wearing a cloth, which you will be, once it is a tear, you should throw. The same, this also it becomes in such, this knowledge is not ordinary knowledge. This Vedas, whatever they talked about, first basic thing is you take care of your health. That health is how? Our health is only through Anumulikas. Anumulikas means that is all helps what is being taught in the Adharana Veda, like the type of Madhuka. Madhuka is the one which is used. Every day you must use 4 flowers a day. That is even Bhadrachalam, where it was done. Able to hear me?
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
Bhadrachalam, last time they made this yagna, is more than 12 lakh people came there. There they offer, the god, they offer only this Madhuka flower, we call the Vipa. Then Brungaraj, the type of Brungaraj, and also the whole world is using today, that is Tinospara. Tinospara is the one we call Amritavalli. That is Adharveda said, the whole world today for immunity that has been taken all over the world. But people doesn't know this is come from the immunity is from the plant. Like that, if you go on saying that we have Trimurti Vanam, Panchavati Vanam, Panchabuddha Vanam, Navagraha Vanam, Nakshatra Vanam, Rasi Vanam, Saptarushi Vanam means each plant has got its own Graha or Nakshatra. These are all most medicinal value. What I said about the Mangala Kujagraha, the Kadira, Akasha Katachu, like that, example I said, today is being a Tuesday, I want to refer one plant at least to understand what we lost. The whole world is looking for this type of herbs, which we are, since 1994, we have taken up the Yagna purpose, the 2,500 acres, all the varieties of herbs, what used for the Yagna and for health, or Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, these two are the most important. They are the father of the medicine, and they are given 55 diseases in the world, which it is total diseases. Each disease, 10 plants, they are prescribed. Each plant can give solution for that disease, but they made alternative 10 plants for each disease. That means 550. Out of 550, 100 are common, 450 plants, which are enough for the present, whatever the diseases we are having, to remove the diseases. Why this Vajapaye Yagna has come? The Charaka Samhita, 3rd chapter, Sushruta Samhita, 16th chapter, said that time, wherever there is a disease which is spread all over the world, means pandemic, that is a Greek word, then you must do this type of yagna. What type of herb to be used? This herb is one is Somalata is the king of the herb, first to be used. And we had in India the 4 important herbs which we lost, that is Mrita Sanjeevani, Sandhanakarani, Visalyakarani, Suvarnakarani, where the Lord Hanuman brings, and Mrita Sanjeevani. That when you have the 10 Vayu, Dhanunjaya Vayu, before leaving Dhanunjaya Vayu, when you bring it that Mrita Sanjeevani, and before sunset, people get up, before, otherwise they die. And Sandhanakarani, all the nerve system, when it breaks, in the touch, it is just, nerves will become all right. When Visalyakarani, when it comes to the bones, the crush, the bones becomes powder. Still, this Visalyakarani, it brings back the bones. Then Suvarnakarani, that is in the war, fighting. While fighting, so much, muscles are teared. Bring this Suvarnakarani. These 4 types we lost. Even this present Somalata also getting vanished. Like that, so many plants are getting vanished. Like, that Rajasthan, Mamsa Rohini. That is Mamsa Rohini today. That tribals, even today, if they have menses time, the pains, they come. They go and just sit under the tree, and it's all right. And we have such a plants, all what we talked, this all sacred plant. People can go around the plant and hug the plant. This is disappear. Particular, we like to bring it to your notice. This particular Hyderabad, Pragati Sudhama, we call Pragati Sudhama. This place, no mosquitoes, since 1998, not today. After planting all these herbal and medicinal plants, and no bad bacteria. And wonderful thing is, no corona. And we are having 135 rooms fully booked for 20 days in a month. And marriages taking place, more than 48 marriages. Why there is no corona here? Instead of going vaccine. Please come back to our herbal, medicinal, aromatic plants, which are the prana padathas. They are prana padathas. They are the only answer, not only for human beings, all living beings. And we want to stress on the Vanamulikas who are there individually for Swakalyanam, Vishwakalyanam. What we have in the kitchen, all spices, the type of spices, there the number of deaths are not taking place in India because the immunity system, which is built in our kitchen, that box, we call Popul Dabba.
Spice box.
Spice box. Whereas our backyard, all like tulsi, the type of long tulsi, mint tulsi, karpur tulsi, lemongrass, all spices. So these are the types of plants. Always, it is aroma, and which it removes all toxins from the body, and also is a muscular repellent, and also it is being used as a herbs for the sacred herbs used for the temples. Bilwa is such a wonderful. పేరు లేని జబ్బుకి పెన్నేరు గడ్డ వాడండి. Means that is, if you don't know the disease, doctor says you have no disease, but still people say I have this problem, that problem. That is where there is a ashwagandha. Why this is being used? Because this is got a steroid. The steroid which is taken a molecule and created a synthetic steroid is more dangerous. It is to be tapered down. Otherwise, it will have side effects and obesity and many other liver problem, kidney, all will, unless you are very careful in using. But whereas this plant, this steroid will go into the body, and this plant, either root or seed or flower, it goes into the body and creates a steroids which is safe, which is no harm. The direct taking these plants, we have herbal kashayams. Herbal kashayams, what I am telling you, this type of herbs, which we have long tulsi, mint tulsi, karbol tulsi, lemongrass, all spices. In this, if you want to have the brain to improve, that is brain, the memory booster, we put the Saraswati leaf. If you want the heart problem, we put Arjuna. Like that, each liver, kidney, any this thing. It is such a wonderful drink. Instead of coffee, tea, we want to promote this. Another important is millets. Our original food is the millet. Even America also, that is the United States also, the millets which there is called American millet. We call that is being used only for birds and animals. That is the most important millet which should be used. We call that the kodo millet, foxtail millet, this type of 5 millets instead of rice and wheat. Then instead of using instead of using refined oils, cold pressed oils, the bull will crush the cold press. Then instead of coffee, tea, the herbs. Then finally, instead of sugarcane sugar, that palm jaggery. Palm doesn't need water, but they are fructose. Like this, what we consume, we have to bring changing for food habits, what we consume accordingly, that the people grow, when the plants they grown, it will become a safe world. Today, India, we may be thinking that we have Vedas, we have so much, but today it has come down to such level. Canada has got 8,950 plants per head. Russia has got 4,500 plants per head. United States 716 plants per head. I am talking about 2012 United Nations CP has documented. And China has got 102 plants per head, whereas India today 28 plants per head. If India has lost the plants, world will never come back again. This the yagnas. The yagna will come only when we have the plants which are endangered. No one is, even our banks, means that is, who is the bank's head? Banks, who is controlling? Our RBI, there is no role of theirs about the plant. They don't consider an asset. That is, if you don't consider asset, the whole system, vicious circle is becoming poisonous. People must come forward to create asset for these endangered plants, which are lost. One plant, one specimen leaves from the planet, 10 specimens will leave. That is, human being also connected one plant. That's why our Rishis, they put the sacred plants so that they will not cut, like Jammi. Nobody cuts. Which plant we are connected? Like Prithvilingam, Ekambaresha, Kanchi Kamakshi is a mango, is the element of carbon. Jaralingam, Jambukeshwar, Akilandeshwari, that is the nitrogen, it comes, because of nitrogen H2O comes. Vailingam, Sri Kalastheswar, Ganprasam, we created temples to safeguard these plants. But these temples today, we don't find the plants in the temple. If you go to Srisalam Kalastri, nobody says that what is the Jivichettu, that is a ficus variety. No one like to teach such things. It is the time has come. It's not only the Indians, everyone. It is a part. If India is lost, the basic fundamental, the food habits, Nobody can recover the planet. Planet will recover only when India is safe. Please look at the sacred plants are most important, and consumption of the plants, that the roots or bark or leaf or the whole plant, seed or fruit, they are the Amrit. Amrit means that is our herb, which is Somalata. They are all sacred. Such plants, 450 varieties, we have to safeguard them, at least 450 out of 45,000 herbal medicinal plants. People documented only 9,000. Out of 9,000, Sarkar Samhita, they brought to like a spoon feeding, 450 varieties of plants. If we don't take care of this 450, nobody can save the planet. So ultimately, apavitraha pavitrova sarvastanga topiva yasmare pundarika kusabhyanta suchi. Suchi. That suchi means purity, the mind and the earth, water, air, sound pollution, akash, the ozone puncture, all this suchi is required. Suchi brings only yagna, nothing else. Yagna is the only answer. Individually, we can take these plants and maybe, but how many people can have this facility to take these plant materials? So we have to do this yagna time to time. India, every month, this type of yagna should continue. Then only people must come forward. And I have for the whole planet, wherever yagna is there, I can supply. Billions of seed, trillions of seed every day I get. Trillions of seed every day. These are mother plants. So I request you all, I don't want to take much time on this particular subject, which is time to time we have to promote the yagna. For that, whatever the Vanamulikas, these Vanamulikas is only answer for individual Swakalyan is Swakalyan. So if I want to talk, there's so much material is there with the Pragati Sudhama. So this type of webinars will conduct and will bring forward lot of information. We have YouTube, that is the Pragati channel, one can see, but mostly Telugu language is there, few English is available. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure. So everyone is, whoever is involved in this yagna, this has to be brought time to time, every month, somewhere or other, every month, one yagna should have. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dr. G.B. Kano. Is very fascinating speech by him, and the things he's created is nobody can create like this kind of things. And now the world is witnessing two kinds of scenarios. One is the post-scenario, post-corona and pre-corona. But the post-corona, I think this is the place, Pragati Sudhama. And we are discouraging people here to wear the mask. We started this Vajapeya Somayaga on 14th, and till now hundreds of people are coming. Some days thousands are coming. We've been doing this testing also, corona testing. All tests have become negative. No one till now one positive case have come here, and all of them we are discouraging them to wear the mask.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah, it's a mosquito free also. Now I welcome Dr. Vedudar Reddy. He's a Joint Secretary, Ministry of Finance, Government of India. Thanks, sir. Thanks for coming. Now, Dr. John, you would like to speak anything, to quick words on this? Dr. John?
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciated very much Alan's talk about the importance of consciousness in the performance of yagya. And I also appreciated the last speaker and his emphasis on the value of the herbs. The herbs are just devatas. They're devatas in physical form. Devata means just energy and intelligence. So the energy intelligence of the devatas gets embodied in the herbs. The real problem with the herbs now is that they've lost their devata value. They've lost their Shakti. And that's the purpose of Vedic agriculture, to return the Shakti, to return the Devatas back into the plants. And we do that through Yagya. We do that by enlivening certain Devatas. And then in the Vedic agriculture performance, those Yagyas, those vibrations come to the field, come through the farmer to the field, and they re-enliven the herbs. What will change Ayurvedic medicine in India, in the world, is bringing back these elements of the Devatas to the plants. And that's our focus in Vedic agriculture. At the same time, when Alan was emphasizing that the mechanics of Yagya, you see in India, everyone accepts or understands or at least acknowledges Yagya. But to the Western mind, and that means the rest of the world, they want to know how Yagya works. Why does Yagya work? Why should we invest money and time in performances in India that you say will influence the whole world? How is that possible? And that Dr. Allen explained very that if you perform a Yagya in India, how can we feel the influence in California or in Moscow or in Tokyo? That's what we're claiming here. We're claiming Yagya is going to change the destiny of the world. How is that possible? And our speakers today explained that very nicely. It's because Yagya is a consciousness-based technology. It's not a superficial technology. It's a consciousness-based, an Atma-based technology. And if we're able to get the pundits, if we're able to train the pundits to perform Yagya from the level of Atma, from the level of Para, so that when they pick up the mantra in their speech, the mantra they see on the level of Para, then Pashanti, and then Madhyama, and finally Baikari level. If that happens, then what happens is when the pundit pronounces the Yagya, the mantra, when the pundit pronounces the mantra, it enlivens the Devatas in his own consciousness, in his own brain physiology. The actual reverberations of the mantra enliven certain parts of the brain of the pundit. So it's the pundit chanting the local mantras. Now the pundit is sitting in, Hardwar or in Hyderabad, and he's chanting. But if the mantras are reverberating throughout his whole consciousness, from Baikari to Madhyama to Pashanti to Para, when the mantras are lively on the level of Para, then Para is all pervading. Para permeates everywhere. Consciousness permeates everywhere. So consciousness is permeating in Moscow, in Tokyo, in California. So these mantras that the pundits are chanting in Hyderabad are reverberating in the field of Chaitanya in California or wherever we want the benefit. This is the mechanics of Yagya that if we can bring back to the world, then Yagyas will change the destiny of mankind. And we can do it in many ways, like this Soma Yagya for the pandemic. What is this virus? This virus is a vibration. This virus is a molecule, and a molecule is just vibration. If we can address that vibration and neutralize that vibration through the mantras of Yagya, we can stop the pandemic. And it's not magic. It's not magic. It's science. It's the science of vibration. It's the science of sound. And Maharshi has given us the technique to use that. You see, we know the traditional mantras. The tradition is there. Alan beautifully brought out, it's all established in the scriptures. So we know what recitations to do. We know what sankalpa we want. We know we want to accomplish this or that. So sankalpa is clear. Recitations are clear. We need pundits then who are established in this field of Chaitanya, Atma. And that comes through this Bhavati Dhyan that Alan was describing, meditation. Whenever we have changed, whenever we have introduced TM, Transcendental Meditation, Bhavati Dhyan, to the pundits, their whole experience of Yagya has changed. When I first started working with some pundits in India, they were some of the best pundits in India. But they were kind of discouraged, I felt, at how much results they actually got from their yagyas. But the moment we trained them and they practiced this Bhavati Dhyan and established their awareness at para level, they begin to experience, they saw the devatas in the Agni fire. They heard the rain falling after they finished the yagya. They saw their results immediately coming. So this is the beautiful gift that Maharshi has given us. Yagya is the greatest science in the world, but it has to be done correctly. And the reason it's lost its luster, the reason it's lost its fame in India is because the pundits haven't been trained to chant from the full range of consciousness. And that we're rapidly changing through these Acharya training programs that Maharshi's offered. And in Vedic agriculture, we direct that yagya towards the intelligence, towards the consciousness of the plants. And as soon as we change the consciousness of the plants, as soon as we change the devatas in the plants, then their physical properties become effective. And we take that herb and it has its effect. When I was studying Ayurveda, I used to read about this herb and that herb. And it said that this herb affects this and this and this and this. So many beautiful effects I was reading. But then I would take the herb and nothing would happen. And I would think, what's wrong here? It can't be the scripture that's wrong. It must be something that's wrong with the herb itself. It must have lost its intelligence, its vibrational quality. And all this now can be solved through Vedic Yagya and agriculture Yagyas. And this is what I want to present to you on the 25th. How to use this science of sound, science of mantras, science of vibration. How can we use it to affect plant growth, plant vitality, plant nutrition, plant health, and through that, human health? You see, our approach to human health, you know, we have this phrase from the Ramayana, what you eat, your devatas eat also. So if you have devatas living in your physiology, in your brain, in your heart, when you eat something, the devatas within you eat that, okay? So we're feeding the devatas that are within us. We need to feed them with Vedic food, food that's enlivened in the full intelligence of all the devatas, all the Vishwa devatas. And this Maha Ashta Prakriti Yagya is so perfect because it affects the devatas which govern Bhumi, Apaha, Nalo, Vayu, Kam, Mano, Buddhir, Evat, and Ahankara. Every single Prakriti is affected by this Yagya. And it's affected in the plants. And when we eat this plant, then it's affected in our own human physiology. So this beautiful science that we're studying here, it's really, as the last speaker said, it's the key to world problems. It's the key to world health. It's the key to world success and prosperity and happiness. But we have to make sure that we, as the teachers of this knowledge, make sure that we use the full knowledge, the knowledge of the complete knowledge of consciousness. So I express my gratitude to all the organizers of this conference and the opportunity to be with you. I'm calling from a faraway land, but we're all together now on this internet connection. So we can all share our ideas together. And I look forward to being with you in future sessions. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you very much, Dr. John. It was really very insightful sum up of both the speakers. Now I request Dr. Rajireddy Garu to speak for 5 minutes. What is Yaga culture? And we'll give Dr. Jayaraj also is there. 5 minutes. We'll then the floor is open. Dr. Rajireddy, please.
Om Yajna Narayanaaya Namaha. Dear friends,
Put it close.
the Indian culture is based upon what you call
Vedic life.
Huh?
Vedic life.
is based upon the spirituality. The concept of what you call liberation is the foundation stone of our social structure, the entire system which is evolved in this country. So what is spiritual? Say that there is a fundamental truth, and the fundamental truth is the universe is evolved. And the next level is called the evolution. And this results evolution is taking place. No.
మళ్ళీ దగ్గర పెట్టుకోండి నో నోటికి దగ్గర
Vedas, we take this Shabda Pramana. We accept, we do not question it because it is called truth. The truth, the Veda represents the truth. Not a Vishwasa or faith, nothing but truth. So, Vedas not only they have given a what you call the Rishis, who has visioned, who has seen the truth in their tapasya, in their meditation, try to percolate their knowledge, their experiences to all human beings. For that, they evolve this method of Yaga. Before explaining what Yaga or actually its outcome or what thing, I will explain the thing. How did they percolate this knowledge into the system, social system here? Just 1 minute I will explain about one story, one incident. When I was a student of philosophy in PG level, postgraduate level, an experience was told. The professor in the interview is asked the question, what is Hinduism? So, a passionate that man answered, Hinduism is a way of life. Okay, what's the way of life? Tell me, I wake up in the morning, I fresh up, I take breakfast, I do some works, I take my lunch, I do some activities, and then I take my dinner and go to sleep, and I sleep, again I wake up. So where is the philosophy here? If Hinduism is a way of life, tell me where is this way of life? What we are speaking of? So here is the answer. The basis of significant spirituality and their experiences, all the calculated to lower level. In Yagna, the entire structure of the Yaga style, Yaga basis, is considered the Yaga Purusha, Yagya Purusha. From the Mooladhara to Sahasrara, the human being is constructed there. From the Garhyapatra Agni, this is the basis. Garhyapatra Agni, which is the worshipped by the Ruhastha. Then Agni is based there, that is the Mooladhara. From that level to Mahavedi, the ending place of Shirastana, where the all Ahutis are submitted. It's called Mahavedi. This is Shirastana. What to call Sahasrara. So there, the Upastambha is installed. It's called Jatha. So from that means the what you call the 7 chakras are depicted here. So the fire which is present in every being is symbolically put there. Agni Pratistapana. First, what there is Agni Pratistapana. That means this is a form of what you call from Bahiryaga to Antaryaga. Bahya is given for masses, for people, how to give some experience to explain the technology, how you go proceed in your sadhana. So, with the Agni is Pratishtha, Agni is established in the beginning. Agni is worshipped, is praised, and it is intensified. Then it will seek the what we call to give the Dakshinagni. Then comes the Ahvani Agni. Dakshinagni belongs to other side earlier. This belongs to the seek the blessings of the or Pitras, their ancestors, starting from the Saptarshis, you can say. Then taking their help, you go to Agni is blessed with the Ahvani Agni. This skull belongs to the gods. So this way, the fire is strengthened. Then the same way, after that, the Pravarga Sadam. That means the strengthening the fire, the purification of the fire is done. They are processed for 4 days. After all these things, that purified fire, the strengthened fire is brought to the Mahavedi. There, all offerings are given. Here, the same way, everyone is expected to ignite that Agni in the Hridaya, in the heart. That Agni is to be invoked, intensified invocation. It has been done, and slowly his journey starts. In the sadhana. In the sadhana, so many obstacles are there, and you have where you have to seek help. I mean, if physically some problem with it, you can ask a doctor or somebody. But here, only the Guru's grace or our Pitara's help, you go forward. You go come out the obstacles. Then you reach the highest level. That means here, how you evolve yourself, how your consciousness evolve to higher level, higher state. This is depicted in the Yaga. Okay, this is Yaga process. Then how it is percolated to social level? You find it in every India, every part of the country. When Agni is ignited in the fire, what you call it, the cooking room, they purify the first they purify even the modern day what we call this gas stoves have come. First they clean the kitchen room. No one is allowed, no other person is allowed to enter the house without taking bath something like that. That means the purity of the house is maintained in the cooking room. Then Agni is ignited. Then whatever the cook, then offering is made. And what are the things you are utilizing in this cooking process? The spice water. Most of the herbs which you offer in this yaga are used in every kitchen in India. Just now our friend told that the spices is protecting this country out of the America, would call this coronavirus and other things. It is not that there were no pandemics in the country, but even then, if they are the death rate is very less compared to other countries. That means here all the herbs or spices are used in most of the houses. And that's called in when a bride is sent to her in-laws house here, one of the important things the spice box is given to the bride, and then she takes to her new house.
And also the cow.
And also cow. These both are given. Spice box and cow is given. That is the importance. So after this thing, see now what type of items are prepared? Just as I told, not only the food, rasa is given, the juice, the items of juice are given, items of powders are given, and the items of chutneys, whatever different these things, and cooked things, and in the end, like what you call curd, because you are using the spices. That this it ignites your internal fire, but same time you should not harm your health. That's why this curd prepared of cow milk is given. So this way the health is protected. Not only that, here they are taught to give the offering. Everything cooked in the house before taking a body has to be offered. That means the yaga culture, the concept of yaga is percolated to the lower level in the society. True, people are forgetting its importance, its significance, because everything, the truth is the spiritual meaning in this yaga that is called is good symbolically. The symbolism has gone, forgotten, but practically it is there. The only thing is that you have to bring it to the consciousness of the people, because what I'm telling you is this. When I asked the Vrttis, the recite mantras, I asked them what are the meaning of these things. Sorry, they said that you would not know the bhava, but the swara is with us. The same way, the things are evolving in the lower level, but people do not know. Now comes the effects. Just now John asked us, what are the effects? Why you are doing, why should you yaga? This, it brings the balance in the universe. We did just 2 minutes amount, 2 more minutes I will take. One is, we wanted to showcase this yaga to the world. What are its effects? Whether we can scientifically prove them. That's why I am seeking the help of the Maharshi organization to validate these truths in a scientific manner to the world. In Agnistoma, we have conducted in Bangalore. There, the aura of the people, not only the visitors, even the Vrttis has increased manifold. And a cancer patient was put, he became good, well, after that. When we conducted a Agnistoma in Aurobindo in Pondicherry, before conducting somebody from Africa, through Aurobindo people asked us, they are facing some problem, acute water shortage in the there. They hardly have water for 5 days.
Durban.
In the
South Africa.
Cape Town. So they asked us. I said, this yaga is performed for universal listing. It doesn't have a personal listing. Only smart yaga you can pray for a personal listing. But in South yaga, it's only open to all. But whoever wants, they can let them come to pray. So with the help of what you call
Mayor.
The mayor of the city, some 2 people came from South Africa and sat there. So that lady, I forgot her name, she sat there for entire yaga period. And the 3rd day of the yaga, but she simply sat there. I think she was simply playing her what you call her aspect of course, so intensive. God told that for 12 days and 11 days, continuous days, 3 days, continuous days was there, rain was there in Cape Town. And almost 60% of all tanks were full because of the rain. So I can't say the Karikaran Sambandha, how this is because the yaga they helped, maybe the her intense aspiration, but the result is there. Now, now we are trying to ask the Maharshi people how to study the effect of this yaga, the various ways, how it happens. So that it has scientifically validated. People believe. It's not that I'm testing the yagas, effect of yagas. Yaga is truth, which I can't challenge it. No one can challenge because the Vedic Shastras of the Vedas. But the present generation, they want some proof or some validation. That's why we seek your help or conduct this thing. Next this coming April also, we are conducting Atra Yagam in Ayodhya. There, if you can properly work or organize the research activity, then you can show it for the world. So this is my validation to you. So what we request is, to propagate this concept of yaga in the entire world. We seek the Maharshi people help in in our vision. So our job is, because all the mantras, they have 2 meanings. One is the physical meaning and the spiritual meaning. The spiritual concept people are forgetting it. So mostly we say Aurobindo explain the spiritual concept, each mantra, each concept they explain it. We want to explain the spiritual concept of the yaga to the world, one thing. And second is, in this yaga, the Vrttis they do not know the meaning. Why ask when? Why you are not? We do not know the meaning. When you have swara, you should know meaning. What they say that to learn it takes so many years, and we don't have an upadi. Those who are ghata parties, they don't have any
Livelihood.
So unless the livelihood, no one can come forward. So what is the livelihood? But conduct yaga. Unless we conduct yaga, we can't preserve yaga. Another thing is, And to conduct yaga, you require all herbs. Unless herbs are preserved, you can't conduct yaga. And the beauty of this yaga is this thing. Every section of society is involved. The carpenter, every professional people are involved in this one. So that means it brings the society together. It's a social invocation this one. So it is a God, it is a child, it is a circle. So if one part of the circle is broken, the entire system will broken. That's why we try to preserve this. We are preserve the cycle again, and we seek our help to our mission to propagate Yaga culture. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pragati. And it was very, he explained in very simple terms what is Yaga culture in India. Now we are actually running out of time, so I request Dr. J. Raja to just speak 2 words.
Jai Gurudev. The yagyas are required for everybody, as Raj Reddy ji said, and particularly how they maintain, because to live, we need the 5 elements, whether it is modern physics or Vedic science. So for everybody, and to live our life, so the 5 elements existence is very important, and the proportion also. The proportion in every aspect for the plants and all the creatures, it is varying, and then that is divided in the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So to sustain these things, we need the yagyas. Yagyas, they are bringing the energy, the potency, and the power. And all the 5 elements are equipped with all what they are needed. So, because of forgotten this knowledge, so we are facing, it is not speaking about all these things, and even the human consciousness or the whole world consciousness, which it is to be supported by the yagyas. So luckily, as Rajareddy said, that by doing this research, because now we are living in the world of the objective referral knowledge. Of course, Vedic knowledge is the subjective referral. So people believe, like with the modern consultations with the medical world, when we are speaking about this, these are the things like that. When they experience, they can feel it. But still, if you give something, whether it is true or not, with the MRI or CT scan, if something is given on the paper, they don't believe themselves, but they believe what it is written on the paper. They don't even know how to read it. But if whatever it is written on it, and when they go to some doctor, some another doctor, no, this is wrong diagnosis, sorry. So you don't have this disease. So it happens many times. But still, they believe that what the paper is given after spending so many thousands of rupees. So it's like that. So in the subjective referral knowledge, we have to believe, because the eternal truth is the Vedas. So the yagyas, they are proven. So we have to perform, we have to bring this knowledge, and to make everybody to believe, as GBK Rao Garu said, so we have to perform every month. Even there are the Nityagni Hotris, they are performing everyday yagya, because they are meant for it. Because of that, they cannot leave their house. It is very difficult. They are attached there, because if they travel anywhere, they have to travel with their Agni, with the fire. So it is very complicated to live. So traveling and all these things, they are dedicated. So the Pandits, they are dedicated, and we have to support them. When we do the yagyas, as Raj Reddy said that, so everybody is supported. Why everybody? Even all the 5 elements and whatever it is needed for the total universe. Today we have seen when the Pravargya exposed, and then the Pravargya, when it went into the sky, it shake the clouds and all the elements in the sky. And that clearly everybody has seen. I think luckily the photographs might have catched very well. So this is the way how we are supported. So I don't want to take the time. So just I want to emphasize that the importance of the Yagyas. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, Dr. Jayaraju. And now I request, can we take one question? Anybody has any question? One question we can take so that we can close this. Okay. And now I request Dr. Krishna Raju, is the brother of Dr. Jayaraju. It's a Raju family's big asset for our country also, to propose vote of thanks.
Jai Gurudev. First of all, I thank Dr. G.V.K. Rao Garu from the Pragati Sudhama to offer this great yagya, and also the discussion about the yagyas and Vedas. Knowledge itself is the science. The Veda itself means the knowledge with Gnani. So all these knowledge sessions and all these things are to improve our consciousness, and all through that the whole world can get the benefit of this. So first of all, I thank Dr. G.V.K. Rao Garu, and then a great speech by Dr. Alan Olsgaard, and I thank Dr. Alan also, and I thank Dr. John to give the Vedic agriculture and all these things. And I thank Dr. J.R. Raju Garu, and I thank Raja Reddy Garu and Shekhar Reddy Garu and all everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, we come to the conclusion of this one. Tomorrow will be a very interesting topic, scientific rationale of Yaga. John Hegley and everybody is coming. So please do join us at 2:30. We'll send you the links tomorrow. Thank you very much.